Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Waajd SIddiq, and my teammates, Byan Alhawi, Raghad Mohammed, and Kenda Alurifan, and I will present to you with a case study of Saudia Airlines. A quick introduction. Saudia Airlines is the flag carrier for Saudi Arabia. It was founded in September 1945 after President Franklin Roosevelt gifted King Abdulaziz a Douglas DC-3 early on that same year. It is currently headquartered in Jeddah, and it provides air transportation services to passengers, baggage, and cargo across over 100 destinations worldwide. As a member of SkyTeam, the second largest airline alliance in the world, its fleet encompasses 144 aircrafts of 7 different models, and it's currently ranked the 20th airline according to Skytrax ranking. Over the course of its history, it has won over 85 awards on the national and regional level.
And this year, in terms of employment, the aviation sector supported just under 958,000 jobs across all provinces, including Mecca, Riyadh, and Eastern Province, capturing approximately 87% of the total economic impact. Moreover, the aviation sector of Saudi Arabia contributed to $21 billion to the kingdom gross domestic product. Also, they are planning to support more than 100 million passengers and create 35,000 new jobs by 2030. And this year, in terms of employment, this chart represents the historical passenger traffic breakdown for Kingdom Saudi Arabia in 2012 until 2023. It shows that even though the passenger traffic breakdown has been affected during COVID-19, it returns the same value after it and even more.
Now that we've introduced Saudia Airlines, let's talk about stakeholders. But first, let's define what a stakeholder is. A stakeholder could be either an individual or a group of people that have interest in your company or are affected by the way it performs and its operations. For many businesses, Saudia Airlines included, these stakeholders can be either internal or external, as shown here. These are the key stakeholders of Saudia Airlines. For the internal ones, there's the Saudi Arabian government, board of directors, employees, and PIF. When I was first researching this, I was a little confused as to why PIF is considered an internal stakeholder rather than an external one. But it turns out that this makes a lot of sense since Saudi Airlines is owned by the Saudi Arabian government, and PIF does play a really huge role in the strategic direction of the company. So it makes sense that it is an internal stakeholder. As for the external stakeholders, on the other hand, we have GACA, which is the General Authority of Civil Aviation. We have passengers and we have competitors. And we're going to talk more about those in the coming slide. As for the role stakeholders play in the airline, as I've mentioned before, we have internal and external stakeholders. So let's talk more about each one in depth. For the internal stakeholders, they play a more significant role in the airline. They can contribute somewhere from, like studies show, around 60 to 80%, but it varies. But that is a lot more significant than the role external stakeholders play. Employees, executives, and shareholders, as I've mentioned before, these are the same key internal stakeholders. The employees play a really big role in the airline because they are almost fully responsible for customer satisfaction. If the employees are not treating the customers well, whether that be stewardess, pilots, service employees, if they're not helping customers, then customers are not going to be satisfied with the performance of the airline, so they're not going to go for it. Executives, they play more of an executive role. They are more responsible for the company's strategic direction, and the shareholders are more concerned with the financial part of the company. So whether they like invest in the company or they're just looking out for the finances of the company. On the other hand, external stakeholders play still a significant role, although not as significant as internal stakeholders. The tourism industry, which is really interesting. During like holiday times, flights, if you've noticed, flights boom in price. They become really expensive because there's a really high demand for flights. Additionally, passengers also play a really big role because these are the people funding the company. These are the people paying to fly. So passengers in the tourism industry are kind of interconnected. And finally, suppliers also really play a big role because they determine how much money the airline's going to need to pay to get these supplies and how much money they're going to need to charge others in order to break even and make profit.
In our presentation, we use two types of analysis. Let us start with the first one, the SWOT analysis, which highlight the internal and external factors affecting the airline. First, the strength. Saudia Airlines has a strong brand recognition, meaning people know and trust them. It also has a great loyalty program such as Al Farasan, which keep frequent travelers engaged and encourage repeat business. However, there are some weaknesses. The airline is a bit slow in adapting new technology, which is important in today's competitive world. Also, high operating costs like fuel and maintenance can reduce profit. Now, looking for the opportunities, Saudi Airlines has big chance to expand as Saudi Arabia is becoming a major tourist destination, especially with Vision 2030. The growth of tourism, like religious tourism in Mecca and Medina, and the new places such as Neom, is a huge plus for the airline. Finally, the threat. There is a strong competition from other airlines in the region, like Emirates and Qatar Airways, which means Saudi Airlines must keep improving. Also, economic instability, like change in oil price and global recession, can significantly impact demand of air travel. Now, let us take a look at the second one, the vessel analysis, which examines the external factor affecting Saudi Airlines. Political factor favor Saudi Airlines. The Saudi government, especially through Vision 2030, is heavily supporting the aviation industry, which helps Saudi Airlines to grow. On the economic side, Saudi Airlines is recovering and doing great after the pandemic. Also, its economy is better than it was before, which we can consider as a positive sign to encourage the customer to invest on it. On the social factor, show that Saudi Airlines customer base is diversifying with more people from different countries traveling with Saudi Airlines. This means that Saudi Airlines need to cater to a diverse range of passengers. Technological factors are an opportunity for Saudi Airlines. It is investing in a new technology and saves to improve its aircraft and enhance the passenger experience. And on the environment side, Saudi Airlines is working to reduce its carbon footprint by adopting sustainable practices, which is becoming more important in the industry. Finally, legal factors are clear. Saudi Airlines follows international laws and safety standards to ensure that it operates smoothly without legal issues.
Moving on, we're going to discuss some economic indicators that both affect and are affected by the airline industry in the kingdom or Saudi Airlines directly. As of 2024, and according to the Ministry of Transport and Logistics Services, the airline industry supports almost 600,000 jobs, both directly and indirectly. It has also contributed $53 billion towards the kingdom's economy. Almost 21 billion of that is directly through air transportation and related services, and the 32 billion via tourism supported by the airline industry. More specifically, Saudi Airlines has experienced an increased demand in its services, a 4% increase in its flights, and a 21% increase in the number of guests since last year. Consequently, it's increasing the supply of its services and has ordered 49 new aircraft. Lastly, inflation nationally has increased by 1.6% since last year, while transportation prices have decreased 1.6%.
Some key business functions are ground services, passenger services, technical services, representation, and supervision. In 1954, Saudia Airlines has established the Saudi Ground Services, or in short, SGS. It serves as an expert in load moving. SGS manages load handling operation at every Saudi Arabian airport, including traffic control, load control, and fleet solutions. Firstly, in traffic control, they monitor arrival, departure schedules, and coordinate requisite turnaround activities efficiently and safely. Secondly, in load control, they ensure a safe departure of aircraft with maximum payload. Thirdly, in fleet solutions, a central element of the passenger experience is the quality of the cabin environment. To ensure cabins are clean and comfortable, the SGS Fleet Solution Team provide an around-the-clock cabin preparation service for hundreds of thousands of flights per year.
Forecasts and predictions. My teammates and I predict that operations in Saudi Airlines will decrease with the launch of Riyadh Air. More specifically, flights from and to Riyadh will be most affected, as the aforementioned airlines will dominate that area. However, Saudia will probably still remain a popular and profitable airline in the long-standing history and status as the nation's main flag carrier. We also predict that competition from other airlines in the kingdom will not experience drastic change, as the other low-cost carriers target a different demographic. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. On behalf of my teammates and I, we wish you a pleasant flight.